Hello again, welcome back to episode 5 of this series. On this one I'm going to add a new type of platform. It's going to be the jump through. The second type of platform we are going to add is this green one, which is a fading platform. So enough talking, let's get started. First, let's add a new variable that will determine if a wall is a jump through, and I'm going to add it to the wall script because it's the base of all walls. So I'm gonna do export var and jump through, and we're gonna set it, we need to set it to equals to false. And now we would want to handle collision differently if a wall is a jump through. So we need to go to the game script, and I'm going to change the check walls collision method. And what we're going to do is add a new if statement, and if a wall is a jump through, we say that we have collision if and only if the entity or actor is exactly 1 pixel above it. So we need to check if the offset is down, and also we're going to do offset equals vector2 down. And the next thing we're going to check is if the entity is riding the current wall. Okay, so basically if these two conditions are true, then we're going to return true, and that is all we need to do for the jump through walls. And I'm also going to change this if to a else if or elif. Now I want to be able to set the hitbox as a collidable or not collidable, so that way we can turn collision on and off. So what we're going to do in the hitbox script, I'm going to add a new property for that, and I'm going to add first a local member. So we do mCollidable, and I'm going to set it to true. And now I'm going to add a property, so we're going to do var collidable set get, and this time we're going to implement the set method as well. So we're going to do set collidable and get collidable. Okay, and now what we need to do is implement this real quick. So in the set collidable we accept a value, and for now we're going to only set the mCollidable to be equal to the value. I'm going to add more stuff to it later. So equals value. Okay, now let's write the get collidable. And in the get collidable we're just going to return mCollidable. Okay, now in our intersect method, let's add a new condition, and we're gonna add the if, and we're going to check if self is not collidable. I forgot to add the not sign, so let's add it, not, or the other hitbox is not collidable. Then we're gonna say that we don't have a collision. We're gonna return false. Else we are going to check for intersection like we did before. Great, so now we would want to use this property when we move a solid, and we're going to do it on the move Y only. And the idea here is to turn off collision if a wall is a jump through, so that it can't push the actor. So let's open up the solid script, and inside the move Y function, right before the for loop, I'm going to set hitbox.collidable to be equals to not jump through, and at the end of this function we're going to set collidable back to true. Test it, but before we test it, let's change one of the platform to be a jump through. So I'm gonna check this one, and in the editor I'm gonna set the jump through to be on. Save it and run the game. The collision with the platforms works as before, and this is the jump through, and I can jump through it, but as you can see, because I'm holding down the jump button, I instantly jump when I'm on top of the platform, and I don't want that, so let's fix it. So I'm going to open the player script, and instead of doing you see here the jumping is action pressed, I'm going to change it to is action just pressed, and that should fix the instant jumps. And inside the variable jumping we're gonna do input is action pressed as we did before, and the variable jumping will keep working as usual. Okay, that's it. Let's test it. Cool, so we jump as before, and it is much better. You see, I'm not instantly jumping when I'm jumping through the platform, so that is good. Okay, on this second part of this video, I want to spice things up. I want to add a new type of platform, and it's going to be a fading platform. So I'm going to create a new scene, a node 2D, and I'm going to rename it fading platform. And as usual, save it under the scripts folder. Let's link a hitbox, and I also want to add a child node, which is going to be a twin. Add a child node twin. Cool. And let's set up the hitbox width to 48 and the height to 10. And I also want to differentiate it by the color, so I'm going to pick green and attach a script to the root. Fading platform, yes. Just save it under the scripts folder. Script, save. Delete all this stuff. Just like the moving platform, this platform will also inherit from solid. Let's drag it here. Let's add a reference to the twin, and you know how to do it. On ready var twin equals $twin. Now we need the on and off time for the platform, so I'm gonna add two export vars. The on time, define it as float with the colon. I'm gonna set it to 1, and now we need the off time, and the same, it is a float, and it's going to be 3 seconds. Okay, now we need a boolean var, so I'm gonna add a boolean fall true, and I'm gonna set it to false. This is going to be our switch to turn on and off. Now inside the built-in ready function, let's call the init twin function, just as we did before. Okay, so let's write it, init twin, and again we're gonna interpolate, but this time the interpolation is going to be on the fall through value. So I'm going to do twin interpolate property, and the object is going to be self, and the property to interpolate is fall through. Okay, and the start value is going to be false, end value is going to be true, and the interpolation time is going to be the on time. Now for the twin transition, I'm going to pick linear this time. And again, for the easing, in linear it doesn't matter, we're going to pick in out. And for the delay, just put 0. Now let's duplicate this row by Ctrl D, and we do it again, but we're going to go from true to false, and instead of on time we're going to change this to off time. Everything else is the same. I just need a delay so that we start after the first twin, so I'm going to put on time as the delay. We want this twin to repeat, so I'm going to do repeat equals true. And now we're going to connect to the step event, so I'm going to do twin connect, and it's going to be the twin step. The object to connect to is self, and again let's name this function on twin step. Finally call the twin start, and we're done. Now let's write this on twin step, and it's going to be very easy this time. We're just gonna do on twin step, and inside this, oh yeah, we need to accept the values. Don't forget to do that. So I think it's object, key, elapsed, and value. It doesn't really matter, I'm not going to use it. Now inside the twin step, all I want to do is change the hitbox.collidable to be equal to the fall through. And that's it for that. Okay, one last thing I want to change is the color of the hitbox when it's disabled. That means when collidable is false. That will make it easier to observe if the hitbox is collidable or not. So first I want to add a disable color. I'm gonna add a new export var. I'm gonna rename it disable color, and let's do it gray color, so it's gonna be 0.8 for all the values and half for the alpha. Now I want to cache the original color, so let's add a new variable, an onReady var, and I'm gonna name it original color, and we're gonna set it to be equal to color. Okay, now inside the set collision, we're going to check if value, which means if it's collidable. We're gonna do color equals original color, else we're gonna set color to be the disabled color. Great. Last thing we need to do is add a fading platform to our level. So in the level scene, I'm going to link a fading platform. I'm going to move it here, and to spice things up, I'm going to set it to jump through also. Save and run the game. I'm going to jump on the fall through, and you see when it's off, it turns gray and I'm falling through it. And that is everything for this video. I hope you learned something. Please like and subscribe. Thank you very much. I see you on the next one. Bye.